Hey guys, this is Sean with Alexander Tutoring, and this video is going to be a follow-up to the factoring video I did previously. This is factoring part 2, and in this case we're going to look at factoring quadratics, which is really common. A lot of students struggle with it, so I'm going to kind of show you a system that I have for doing these that works every time. So this is a quadratic, and we know it's a quadratic because it follows the following format. ax squared plus bx plus c. So quadratics always follow the format some number a times x squared plus some number b times x plus some number, okay? So I have an example written already, so let's figure out what a, b, and c are in this case. Okay, so the first term is x squared, and there's really nothing in front, so that's equivalent to a 1, right? 1 times x squared is x squared. In this case, a equals 1. What's b in this case? Well, it's a number multiplying the x, which in this case is negative 7. Don't forget the sign in front, the minus sign. A lot of students like to do that. Finally, what's our c term? It's just a number at the end, which is negative 18. Again, don't forget the sign. Okay, so when we factor quadratics, we want to factor this into a form that looks something like this. And we want to find a number that goes here and here. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, this is going to seem like an arbitrary rule, but in order to find a number that goes there and there, we always want to find a number, two numbers that when you add them together give you the middle term, or the b term, and when multiplied together give you the c term. So in this case, we're looking for two numbers that add to negative 7 and multiply to negative 18. Again, I'll explain this why in a second. Now you can see that might not be the easiest thing to figure out, and a lot of students stumble here trying to figure out what those numbers are. So I'm going to show you a system that works every time. Okay, so what we're going to do is, so we want two numbers that add to the middle term. Okay, there's literally infinity ways to add two numbers to get negative 7. Okay, like you could do negative 1,000,000 and 7 plus 1,000,000 works, right? So as you can see, there's a million ways to do it. However, there's only a handful of ways to multiply two numbers to get negative 18, the c term. So we're always going to start with that. Let's figure out every way we can factor the c term. And it's negative 18. We're going to just ignore the sign for 1 second because it's going to make our lives easier. And so we're going to figure out every way we can multiply two numbers to get to the c term, in this case negative 18, but we're going to ignore the sign for 1 second because it's going to make our life easier. And we're always going to start with the number 1 because 1 times anything is the self. So 1 times 18 is 18. That's one factor of 18, right? Then take the 1 and just click it up 1 to 2. 2 times what equals 18? Pretty obviously 9, right? Okay, then we click the 2 up to a 3. 3 times what equals 18? 6. Then we click the 3 up to a 4. 4 times what equals 18? Well, no whole numbers. 5 and then 6, that's it. So there's only 3 factors of 18. Okay, now we're going to start worrying about the signs. So we know that these two numbers have to add to negative 7, right? So now we're going to stick the sign in. Now we're going to worry about the sign because it's really negative 18 and negative 7. So is there any way, so we're basically going to make either the left number or the right number negative or both. Is there any way we can get a negative 7 out of 1 and 18? Like if we made the 1 negative, added to 18, that would be 17, no. Made the 18 negative, added to 1. Like it's pretty clear that there's no getting a negative 7 out of 1 and 18. So we can skip that one. What about 2 and 9? Is there any way we can get a negative 7 out of those two by adjusting the sign? Well, if you look at it, what if we make the 9 negative? Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Boom, nailed it. And then going to the third one, 3 and 6, you can tell there's no getting a negative 7 out of that. And you'll notice that when we multiply 2 and negative 9, you get negative 18. So that is my trick for quickly going through all the factors to figure out the two numbers that add to the middle term and multiply to the last term. So we can just stick those in here. We have plus 2 and minus 9. Okay? And that is it factored. Now, why is it that we want two numbers to add to the middle term and multiply to the last term? Well, I think the best way to do that is to multiply this back out again and see if we end up back where we started. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this down here. X plus 2. Okay, So we're going to use FOIL to re-multiply this out. So how does FOIL work? Well, we do x times x to get x squared. That's the first term here. That's why we have an x in the first slot, is to reproduce that x squared. And then we do x times negative 9, which is negative 9x. Then we do 2 times x, that's plus 2x. And then finally we do 2 times negative 9. See how those are going to multiply to get the c term, negative 18, like that. And then guess what? So the two numbers that we found, 2 and negative 9, they multiply to get the c term. You can see that right there. And then guess what? We're going to combine like terms in the middle. So those same two numbers, the negative 9 and 2, then add together, combining like terms, to get negative 7x minus 18, and we're back to where we started. So why do we want two numbers that add to the middle term and multiply to the c term? It's because of how you multiply things out. So remember, factoring is distributing backwards. Okay, so you can see when we distribute or FOIL this as part of the process, the two numbers we were after, these guys and these guys, within that process, we had to add them to get the middle term, right? The negative 9 and 2 added together negative 7. And then to get the c term, we had to multiply those two numbers to get negative 18, or the c term. So that's why we want to think of two numbers that add to get the b term, in this case negative 7, and multiply to get the c term. Okay, so for the next, you'll notice that a was equal to 1 in this. It's the number in front of x squared. It's much easier when a is equal to 1. For my next video, I'm going to show you how to do it when a is not equal to 1. Okay, I really hope you found this useful, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care, guys.